Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my co-ordinator commentary Ashton, and this is our Lucha Underground review. And if you noticed, I put a little bit of stank on that which I haven't done in a while, and it's because I am in an exemplary mood. And how can you not be? It's Wednesday night. It's Lucha Underground. And this Lucha Underground, I loved it because it had everything. Like all of the big things that you think would happen around this time, they checked the box. So let's see. Continuing promotion for Mundo. Check. And they did it in a major way tonight that I love. As if the video packages weren't enough. Like, they are really putting their back into making this seem like one of the biggest Lucha Underground title matches in recent memory, and I adore them for that. Cueto Cup. Check. 2 fun matches tonight, especially Dante versus Puma, which we'll have plenty to say about that. Cinematics that further other storylines. Check. And one in particular that what I had in mind when I started this intro, Gift of the Gods. We get to talk about that again, guys. So yeah, this show had its best foot forward because I feel like every cinematic, not that this is new for them, but like every cinematic was furthering something that either we were thinking about or we thought was coming. The matches delivered, and they also furthered narratives. Like there are so many great episodes of Lucha Underground, but this actually might go down as one of my favorites in hindsight. Not just with how everything ended, though that's a huge part of it, but because like everything built to something, and like, man, was this a wallop for Lucha Underground. Like, I adore this episode. So, partner, oh, geez, almost choking on my own excitement there. How did you feel about tonight's episode?
I really enjoyed it as well. Yeah, this was definitely one of the best episodes of Lucha Underground that we've seen. I mean, if not overall, definitely this season. I mean, this season's been really good. I will definitely say, though, just kind of in hindsight, knowing that we're not exactly, but around the same amount of episodes into this season as we had in season 2. Season 3 blows season 2 out of the water. And that's not even to say I thought season 2 sucked, because it didn't. I did enjoy most of season 2, and especially the first half or so of season 2. But season 3, we've gone back to like season 1 levels of amazing at this point.
Yes, because, dude, everything they touched on tonight. Like, this, in terms of, like, actual discussion, this is definitely a meatier episode of Lucha Underground. And again, that's not trying to say anything bad, but most of the time it just seems like, okay, matches, maybe a cinematic or two sprinkled in, and then it's whatever. And then the cinematics themselves, while they're not inherently meaningless, of course, I felt like so many of these cinematics here were like, what? So they're going to do that? And yeah, I even felt like we got more cinematics than matches tonight. So the cinematic to match ratio, the scales were tipped in the cinematics' favor, which I like. I actually prefer episodes like that. So that's the biggest compliment I can give. And dude, I just can't wait to dive into this.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. I really consistently have enjoyed the episodes of Lucha Underground more when they're cinematic heavy than the ones that are just match heavy. And in, full disclosure, that's kind of made the Cueto Cup a little bit less intriguing to me until we got down to this point right now. And we've got it narrowed down to 8 people left, and we're going to find out who is really going to go at it to determine who's going to face, hopefully, Johnny Mundo at Ultima Lucha Tres. This is where the Cueto Cup went from entertaining to really good in my eyes. And more importantly, they're also doing more character work, more, like you said, cinematics, more that kind of stuff now, too. And now, because we are in the quarterfinals, we're not getting, the only matches we have tonight are Cueto Cup matches. Because, again, for the first round, we were getting 4 Cueto Cup matches a night for 4 weeks in a row. And then it went down to 3, and we had 2 last week plus the Mysterio PJ match, and now this week we're back down to 2 again, but this time we got a crazy good main event with Mundo and Azteca. And really one of the other 2 matches, one of the 2 Cueto Cup matches we got tonight was just a thriller, just an amazing match, an absolute barn burner. And I can't wait to talk about that later. But yeah, man, I agree with everything you're saying. But the one big point I want to drive home that to me is like something that no one's really talking about, something that might be going underappreciated that I want to put some highlight on. the way that they've built to Rey is better than any match build WWE has done since like 2003, probably.
Yeah, dude, because again, like I said in my personal intro, given my rundown before we get really in depth, they are throwing everything at this. They've done really.
I mean, dude, the thing is, for the first like 4 to 6 weeks after we found out that it was happening, all they did was run video packages. It was like the first few were that Mike Chiavello over like voice overlay talking about the two competitors, and then they worked in their opponents, like, oh, let's hear from Cage, let's hear from Puma, let's hear from all these other people that have been in the ring with both these guys, and then we got the personal interviews with them, and now we're kind of devolving or evolving, depending on how you look at it, into physical, because last time we saw these guys really interact, you got to remember, it was, I want to say PJ versus. Or no, it was Dante Fox versus El Dragon Azteca Jr. And the World Underground guys came out to try and distract Azteca, and Rey came out, and we got that whole thing. Really, in general, these guys haven't interacted much. And then last week, we got our first real physical interaction between these guys. And then, of course, Rey kind of got the upper hand. And now this week, Mundo really kind of escalating the things, going after Rey's son, Dominic. And we'll talk about that later as well. But I love how this feud, it really hasn't been billed as a feud, but at this point, I think it's safe to call it a feud because Mundo made it personal tonight. But I love that this match has kind of developed into a feud over the last couple months, and the way that they're building to it is just impeccable.
So I love, and this will be my final note before we really get into our review, because I think we're both itching to do it, but I love that it goes from very rudimentary, very basic, just a feud about the title. Two proud competitors, with a rich history, because they both have had long careers at this point, and they both want to be Lucha Underground champion. One man wants to keep it, the other man wants to earn it, and that would have been enough for me. That would have been enough for me because I was loving the video packages. I was loving, Mundo being a heel and Rey being that babyface. But now that you've brought Rey's family into it, not only does that up the heat for Mundo, especially in a venue like this, where Rey really is revered as a legend and, the embodiment of Lucha Libre and everything, but again, it gives Rey now an extra motivation. It's not just about the title anymore. I've got to do this one for my family. And I love that it's just gradually evolved. And it feels natural, too. Like, it doesn't even feel rushed, and they've only done this within a few weeks. And that's crazy to think about. But anyway, you ready to get into this?
Let's get into this, my friend.
Then let us get right into our Lucha Underground review, and we get right into cinematic territory. Dario Cueto finally speaking with his brother Matanza, who we haven't seen in a while. Now, brother, I just had the last bit of conversation about Rey Mundo, so I'm going to let you take the reins for this. What do you think about this cinematic?
Well, the name of the episode is The Hunger Inside, and immediately when I think of hunger as it relates to Lucha Underground, I think of Matanza eating Bale's face in season 1. The only other guy I can think of that might relate to hunger is Drago, and that kind of whole thing with Cobra Moon not feeding him and then kind of like controlling him because she controls the food and that kind of stuff. But really, I kind of figured it would have to do with Matanza, and we saw Matanza on this episode for the first time since January. That was the last time we saw Matanza, and that image that we had of him was him going through a roof.
Yeah, so you figure January. Do you remember if that was like middle January or early January? Because it's early August now, so you figure that's damn near 7 months, if not over.
It's probably closer to like 6.5 months. So
either way, though, that is nuts to go that long.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the last episode before the break was episode 19, and it was January 11th. So it's basically been like 6 months and 3 weeks.
Which, even if you don't want to count that, and you only want to count when they returned, which is May 30th, that's still a long time to be going off the product when you're at least seen at best semi-regularly. So this is a huge deal. So what did you think about this interaction between Matanza and Dario?
I just love that Dario is kind of trying to take back control in the relationship, because we saw at one point in the first half of the season, Matanza grab Cueto by the head, smash his face up against the bars of the prison, take the key, and attacked Azteca. And that's what led to their, I don't remember who, I think it was a death match, right, that they had?
Yeah.
Well, that's what led to that. And I mean, he managed to literally put Azteca through the bleachers, which we already know Azteca's recovered from because we saw him. He was in the Cueto Cup and he's already had a couple matches. Plus, he was here tonight. But, you know, Matanza being put through that building, Cueto said on the first night that he introduced the concept of the Cueto Cup that Matanza embarrassed him and his family name. So Matanza bringing dishonor to the Cueto family name. Dario has been keeping him out of matches, which is kind of strange. And now we see here tonight, he straight up told Matanza that you are becoming a slave to your hunger, and it's making you weak and influencing you. And even though you have the power of a god, you need to control your hunger or it will destroy us both. He actually did mention that the other gods might not be happy with his lack of control. And in Cueto's words, they might take what's left of my baby brother away from me or destroy you completely. So Matanza really needs to gain control here. Otherwise, he could end up, really, we could see whatever god is possessing him take control of that body completely, or worse, he could be destroyed by the rest of the gods.
Yeah, you know, this cinematic, like any interaction between these two, always fascinates me because I think I've said on past reviews, and if I haven't, I'm establishing it here, that I feel like there have been moments where you could almost see that maybe Matanza's a bit sympathetic because he was an unwilling vessel sacrificed by his father. You know, if you read the comics, and you know he's been kind of, you know, that this god now has inhabited his body. So we do know that there are remnants of you know, Dario's brother in there, but it's really the god's will that's kind of, you know, overbearing and you know, empowered and all that stuff. So to see him, you know, caged up, deprived of food, and then Dario puts the meat in front of him, but he tells him not to eat it, you know, control that hunger. I don't know, for me, and this is me being completely serious, don't get me wrong, you're going to see plenty of Johnny Scumbag in this review, but for the moment, like, I did feel sympathetic with Matanza, and I do wonder now if, since we got the title reign out of the way, I know he hasn't faced Ray yet, which, so I know that we're probably not ready to go there, but I'm wondering if we
honestly, I think Matanza Ray is going to be an Ultima Lucha Trace match, because that's
yeah,
Matanza has wanted ever since Ray eliminated him from Aztec Warfare 3.
Exactly, and I do completely agree with you, but I wonder if after that feud, even if we need a good bit of spacing, because Ray is like one of the defining baby faces right now in the temple, if we're not going to start to really see more cinematics and more stuff that says, yeah, Matanza's a monster, but there's humanity in this monster, and that's where the tragedy comes in. I wonder if we are going to see more tragedy with this. And it always makes me question, like, is Dario insidious? Because you see, like, he really is depriving him because he tells him not to eat the meat, even though he puts it in front of him. He does cage him, but you got to wonder, like, is he insidious? Is it just manipulative? Or is it because the Dario, like, truly knows, like, if I don't do this, worse things are going to happen? So it really does make you question your own emotions, your own feelings. And that's why I always appreciate either when these two are together or Cueto is speaking candidly to somebody like he did with Black Lotus about his family. You know, I just always appreciate those cinematics because you so easily want to say, oh, Matanza, what a monstrosity, or Cueto, what a dick. But I think there's humanity in both of them, more so Matanza, if I'm being honest. But I just always like seeing those glimpses. And yeah, I definitely felt like on Matanza's side, I saw that here. So I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Matanza's character, I won't go as far as to say, oh, I felt sympathy for him in this. But really, I know this is probably going to sound horrible to you because you just got done saying that you feel like there's more humanity to Matanza than Dario. But I felt sympathy for Dario because Dario, he probably doesn't want to do this. He feels like he has to do this to protect what's left of his baby brother who's been inhabited by a god since his dickhead of a father sacrificed him.
Yeah, and no, that's fair. That's fair. No, I can totally understand why you would come down on the other side. And see, again, it's not me. I want you to understand, I'm not trying to, like, paint Dario negatively. Like, what I'm trying to express is I think Dario leaves me more confused than anything because, like, I could believe exactly what you're saying, but then I also know, like, well, the guy loves violence and he's a sleazy promoter. And if you hear,
I mean, he loves violence because he was traumatized as a child because his mom was freaking abusive, and I'm sure he wanted to kill his mom, but he didn't have it in him to do it because he was a scrawny kid. So his brother killed his mom, and he watched it happen. Like, you get scarred like that, you're gonna end up screwed up. So yeah, he likes violence, and that's like his thing, is that like he's messed up in the head, and his whole thing is that he just loves violence, but you never see him inflict violence upon anyone. To me, Cueto's just a scumbag promoter. Like, that's just his character, and he loves violence, and he's finding the best way to channel love for violence by running a literal underground fight club and being able to witness as much violence porn as he possibly can on any given night. It's brilliant, really.
I noticed that Lucha Underground, because you framing it that way, first of all, I really appreciate you framing it that way, but I do notice, like, whether it be Cueto or Killshot and Dante or Sexy Star, like, they love doing commentary, and really, like, poignant and well-done commentary in my mind on mental trauma, and overcoming that. And and hey, here's the thing, not getting too personal here, but I have spoken about my life sometimes, like, during a Q&A or during, like, a big, like, TWitWoW thing. Like, I can relate to that very deeply. So, like, you phrasing it that way was very resonant with me, because I know what it means to come from a certain place or whatever and internalize that. And Dario, and the thing with Dario is, not only did he experience violence, but you could say that violence liberated him, because he even said, like, Matanza, he saved me, which, you made the same point, but I really wanted to stress, like, he also internalizes violence in a positive way, because, that was my liberator. Violence is what made me be able to start to have a life. And now I've made violence my life in this way. But let's talk about one more thing, though, because I don't want to leave this cinematic just yet. Like I said, this is going to be one of our beefier reviews, because they just hit us with so much tonight. The Gods Coming. Do you think that's going to be like a big season 4 talking point, or how do you think it's going to play? Because that's very fascinating.
It might be, but the thing is, we've got to remember, we've known about the Gods Coming since early in season 2. Because remember, Star had that cinematic where he was 1,000 years ago telling the little girl that I think ended up, either that little girl ended up being, or just somehow the medallion got passed down, but I think that little girl ended up being Captain Vasquez.
Yeah, and let me just say this, and I do mean...
Oh my God, and that would even make more sense if it actually was Captain Vasquez, because we got to remember the episode where we found out about Captain Vasquez's medallion. That exact episode, that same exact little girl that Aerostar said, like, in 1,000 years, God's in the form of man, whatever. She's the same little girl that got the immortality granting medallion from her grandfather or father, who was dying at the time. And we know now that Vasquez has that medallion. So it makes sense that that's the same little girl, because remember, Vasquez at the end of season 2 said that she thinks Dario Cueto is the arbiter of... what was it? Annihilation, or like the apocalypse or something like that?
Yeah, or the end times.
Yeah, the end times. That's what it was. She said that he was the agent, an agent of the end times. Well, maybe she thinks that because she knows Matanza is inhabited by a god, and Aerostar told her 1,000 years ago that gods in the form of man would come.
Yeah, I mean, I just love how layered all this stuff is. And what I was getting ready to say was, and I do mean this as a compliment, because you can see for that show, I think it's paid off superbly well. But I think the Gods Coming to Lucha Underground is what Winter is Coming is to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like, it really is. It really does feel that way, dude. Because, like, it's one of those things where we know it's going to happen. It's inevitable. We know it's on its way, but we have no clue how long it's going to take. We have no clue, whether it's going to show up this season or next season or in season 10. We just don't know. We have a vague idea that they're coming. We don't know when. And then with the Game of Thrones, from what I understand, the whole Winter is Coming thing in season 7, is Winter here?
Yeah, Winter is here. Yeah, so after 7 seasons, it's finally here. And they took their time. I think Lucha Underground will take their time. And when the Gods come, it's either just going to be a complete slaughter, or maybe even something closer to, here's another reference for you, like an Infinity Wars, where it's just this all-out battle between luchadors and luchadoras and these gods, and it could be just freaking insane. Like,
I'm telling you, man, it's all building up to this tribal warfare that I've guessed was going to happen every season so far. It's going to be, we're going to have 7 tribes, and I mean, we have 7-way matches already for the Gift of the Gods medallions, but we might have a 7-way team-up match where it's like 7 teams, maybe even 7 trios, maybe a 7 four-way trios match, 21 people involved total, might happen to kind of culminate a big storyline for Lucha Underground.
Yeah, dude, the layering that they're doing with this, and we've seen them build to other things before. I mean, Matanza's debut is another strong case. Like, if they want to take their time with this, that's cool with me, because it's not like they're leaving us starving. Like, we got plenty to talk about even in this review alone, but like, that's the big storyline. And when I say big, I put a capital B on that. Like, if that's not their defining storyline as a promotion, it will certainly be one of them. And right now, I do think it holds that crown as the defining storyline, because when they come, they are building it like, oh yeah, remember the destruction Matanza caused? To me, the way they're building up these gods, it's like, take Matanza and then multiply it by 100. And that's the destruction these gods are bringing. So I am very much anticipating that, and clearly Dario is too, because he's trying to take steps to protect Matanza. And yeah, the cinematic ends with Matanza actually resisting going for the meat. And brother, like, this was just the first cinematic, and we've already had this kind of discussion, and we're not even done yet. But I've said all I can about this, so we can move on.
It's going to be an amazing season. All right, well, rest of the season, really. We're already more than halfway into the season. But yeah. Up next, we have our first match of the night, Phoenix versus Pindar. And, Pindar, we kind of knew he was out of his element getting this far in the Cueto Cup in the first place. So it makes all the sense in the world that Phoenix would beat him. And not only did Phoenix beat him, but he beat him despite Cobra Moon help. Yeah,
Cobra Moon did get involved. Kind of was trying to, choke Phoenix out in the corner at one point. I enjoyed this match. Not really too much to say because, it's an LOL Phoenix wins kind of situation for me, which I get. He is one of the more credible guys in the temple, so it would almost seem out of place if he didn't advance, especially because Marty never even got involved. But I was impressed with Pindar. I liked what he showed us. I'm still waiting, for like that really big match either for him or Vibora, because I do see futures for them in singles as well as being this trio right now with Drago. But yeah, Pindar wasn't bad. Phoenix is just established, and of course he's going to get the nod. So he does ultimately win the match. And yeah, it was funny because on live reactions, I thought Pindar did kick out, but he kicked out right after 3. So in a way, still kind of protecting Pindar, but he just missed it. And yeah, Phoenix gets the win. Is there anything you want to say about the match? Because there's really nothing much to say on my end.
Yeah, no, I don't really have much to say about this match. This match is really kind of the low point in the show. Not to say it was bad, because it wasn't a bad match by any means. I don't know if Phoenix is capable of having a bad match, but this was definitely the least interesting segment of the whole show to me, because up next, we got a Dario Cueto's office segment with Worldwide Underground, or at least most of them. It's everyone but Mundo. And we get an update on Jack Evans's injury. He still has his jaw wired shut. He's got all that going on. Cueto, though, tells them he's getting kind of a little bit sick of all of their success being because of all these shenanigans that they consistently use. And then he pointed out that last week, it took 4 people to try and have PJ beat Rey Mysterio, and they still failed at that. So he's getting kind of annoyed with it, and tonight he banned all 4 of them from ringside during the Johnny Mundo and El Dragon Azteca Jr. match. And in order to ensure that they stay away, he added a stipulation, because he does currently have the 3 of them planned for next week opportunities to, or an opportunity. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be a trios match, where the winner in this match gets 3 ancient Aztec medallions. So he basically said, if you interfere, you're never getting another opportunity like this here in Lucha Underground in the Temple ever again. So basically, he's holding this big Aztec medallion opportunity over their heads to prevent them from interfering in Mundo Azteca tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not really going to talk too much about, the banishment, because that's pretty irrelevant. Like, we'll talk about it all in the bundle in the main event. The big story here is the gift of the gods, is the Aztec medallions are going to start being doled out next week. I mean, I'm psyched as fuck for this, because again, the portion of season 3 that we're watching, this second half right here, this is what all the Lucha Underground performers have been raving over. And I know, like, Taya in particular, I feel like Marty has said some stuff, Killshot, like, they all do amazing things here. And so Taya's in the running for this. I obviously hope her, PJ and Ricky get medallions next week, but I'm just glad to see that the concept has returned. I mean, partner, do you have anything to say about it? Because, yeah, I mean, the hunt is on again, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Gift of the Gods concept. I really enjoy the idea that, you know, it's kind of this hybrid X Division title, Money in the Bank briefcase put together, but even better than both, because the thing with the X Division title is that it's supposed to represent like its own championship. It's supposed to be like, oh, you're like the top of the X Division, but then it's also like, oh, but by the way, the X Division isn't as important as the heavyweight division, because guys, you can cash in that crappy little X Division championship for a shot at the real title, the world title, whereas the Gift of the Gods makes no bones about it being for the opportunity to win the world title. Like the Gift of the Gods title doesn't really have a degree of credibility. We don't really think of it as that. We don't think of it as like, oh, it's a championship. It needs to be credible. It needs to be defended regularly or anything like that. It's just basically a Money in the Bank briefcase in the form of a championship. But what's even better about it than the Money in the Bank briefcase is no cheap cash-ins. You have to give at least a 1 week notice. And again, like I just said, has to be defended. It's a great concept that combines a lot of the best elements of those two different kind of prizes and makes them even better in itself.
Absolutely. Like, the Gift of the Gods Championship is the stepping stone title, quite literally, because they spell it out like you only have this so you can get to this. And I love that, because TNA could only achieve that once they denigrated an entire division. Lucha Underground didn't have to do that. You know, they didn't have to chop that limb off to achieve that effect, and I love it. And again, on the Money in the Bank side, like you said, it does give you that big fight feel. It does build that anticipation. Not saying that nobody likes a good upset cash in, you know, like Rollins really showed that when he cashed in at Mania. But I love this because it's like you can really let it build, and you could be like, oh, is that going to be successful? Is it not? So yeah, I adore Gift of the Gods. I'm happy that it's back. We're going to get 3 medallions.
Versus the Money in the Bank is such a really good way, an effective way of kind of describing those individual companies in a soundbite, because like the Money in the Bank, it doesn't really make sense that you would allow somebody to just, you know, give me a match after this guy's already had a grueling match, or give me a match while this other guy's having a grueling match in the you know, in the sense that Rollins cashed in during a match. It's from like a promotion standpoint, you're really kind of relying on people just wanting to tune in every week, hoping that a cash is going to happen. But if you go more than like 2 or 3 weeks without a cash in happening, they kind of give up on it, and then they miss the big moment anyway. Whereas with Gift of the Gods, you really do have to be the better man. Like the Gift of the Gods isn't a magic, I'm going to win the title from you in a cheap way in a box. It's basically just a #1 contendership title. Like that's really, it is what it is at the end of the day, is right. I'm the #1 contender, and I can choose to go after that championship whenever I want, as long as I give a 1 week notice. And then like WWE is all about the moment. It's all about, because that's the WWE now. It doesn't care about their storylines making sense. They don't care about putting on compelling matches or compelling storylines or compelling characters or anything like that. All they care about is creating these moments. And that's exactly what Money in the Bank is just a tool to create moments. I mean, you want to talk about, you already mentioned Seth Rollins' cash-in. Let's talk about the CM Punk cash-ins, the Edge cash-ins. I mean, Daniel Bryan, I think he even cashed in at I think like a TLC one year. It's really just and really the biggest moment probably from a cash-in was Dolph Ziggler cashing in on Del Rio. Like moments. That's what it's completely focused on, creating moments. Doesn't really care if it makes sense or not. Just let's make these moments so that we have something to add to our video packages when we show the history of things. Whereas Lucha Underground is much more concerned with the more important stuff, the compelling stories, the compelling characters, the entertaining matches, and the Gift of the Gods really does suit itself more to that.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent distinction made with these two narrative devices, you know, Money in the Bank and Gift of the Gods. I think you said every worthwhile thing that needs to be said. I guess the only other thing I would ask, do you want to make any early predictions about who you think is going to be the new Gift of the Gods champion this year? or at least this round.
No, I don't. Mil Muertes is going to be my guess, first of all, just because he's not really doing anything right now, and I want to see him in a Gift of the Gods 7-way.
I'm gonna put forward two people, my guy and my girl that isn't Johnny Mundo. When I say my guy, I'm gonna say either Marty the Moth gets it because I think he's been due for a championship like this, or Taya, yeah. Taya did say
she is eligible. She is eligible. I mean, next week she's got an opportunity to win a medallion, obviously.
Buddy, I mean, Taya does. She has said like her favorite stuff this season. Like it's coming, and I don't know. Maybe some of that stuff's already passed, but like the way she tells it, she has a big impact on the remainder of this season, and it may just start next week. So you know what? I'm gonna take those sound bites from her. I'm gonna blow it way out of proportion, and I'm gonna go all the way. So Taya for Gift of the Gods champion.
That's cool though, man. That's cool. I mean, we already saw what PJ Black could do, so he's got an opportunity to win a Gift of the Gods medallion next week as well, and so does Ricky Mandel. You know, he really kind of lucked his way into that one because, you know, if Jack Evans wasn't hurt, he would be in the match and not Ricky.
Yeah, because Jack Evans is, you know, talented. Fucking
well, yeah.
Mandel.
But, and Jack Evans does more for Worldwide Underground than just being the Johnny Mundo cheering section.
Exactly. Look, like an 80% Jack Evans, which that's a percentage I'm ascribing to him because of the jaw wired shut, is still more productive than 100% Ricky Mandel. Just go in the corner, Ricky. Just go in the corner. But anyway, that's all I have.
But yeah, man, I wanted to ask you, because you asked me, who's going to win Gift of the Gods. I thought you were going to ask me a question that I'm going to now turn around and ask you. Who do you think opponents are going to be next week?
Ooh. You know what? I did like what I believe it was Hypothesis said in our live reactions chat. I think now that all three members of the Reptile Tribe are gone, I think it's going to be them. I think they're going to be the challengers, and they might actually beat Worldwide Underground, which I'm hoping not. But, I mean, Reptile Tribe is fierce because they are the Trios champions. So, yeah, I'm going to say they face the actual Trios champions, and that'll be their opponents.
You know what? I'm going to make an official prediction of Marty Mariposa and Sexy Star.
Interesting.
Another reason I'm saying that is because we already talk about Moth Tribe, Marty, and Mariposa. They're always trying to win the Gift of the Gods medallions, and we know that Marty has this infatuation with the Moth medallion, so he wants to win that. And who in the temple wants a shot at Taya more than anyone? Sexy Star.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's going to be my guess. Marty, Mariposa, and Sexy Star. They've actually been a trio before. They were a trio in Season 2, if I remember correctly, when Sexy Star was kind of coming back from being tortured by them.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Man. They were a trio, right? During one of the trios tournaments? They didn't win, but...
Yeah, they didn't win, but I believe you are right about that. And, yeah, of course, that team really didn't last. But, you know, good times, good times.
Man, what is it with Marty and the women in the temple? First Sexy Star, now he's getting all creepy with Melissa. Marty needs to learn boundaries.
I mean, maybe. You know, I'm not so quick to throw Marty to the wolves. Maybe he's just misunderstood. You know? Maybe we just need to be more sympathetic to his plight. You know, just a thought.
Well, up next, we had our second match of the night, and easily the match of the night. Dante, Prince Puma versus Dante Fox. This match was outstanding. I mean, if we hadn't already gotten so many incredible matches from New Japan, this to me is the best in-ring wrestling match that I have seen in the U.S. in 2017 so far.
Dude, this match was a goddamn experience because, these two guys are incredible athletes, are Puma and Dante, and I love that they...
Damn it, I can't even say that because Ishii Omega happened on U.S. soil. Son of a bitch, New Japan.
Yeah, that is true. God damn you, New Japan. But you know what, though? This still gives it a run for its money, if not unseats it. And I adore Ishii and Omega, and you know that. But this was just so good. I love that these two had each other so well scouted. I mean, hell, Puma even had an answer for low main pain, which I was not expecting. And, great back and forth action. Just, this match did everything right to me. I mean, what were some of your favorite moments in this match?
I mean, the blocked low main pain was huge. I love that Dante hit that run. Well, and again, it didn't even actually happen. I'm thinking about it. He didn't hit it, but he did attempt that sick running moonsault to the outside on the apron. That was cool. Dante kicking out of Puma's Fire Thunder Driver was amazing. I mean, these guys had a crazy kick exchange where they were just eating everything the other guy threw at him. And I don't even remember how the exchange ended, but they were like, it was kick, no sell, kick, no sell, kick, no sell, kick, no sell. It was like a freaking Super Smash Bros. Melee match with 2 Captain Falcons up in this bitch.
Dude, that one like moment in the match where Dante is just getting off this sequence of maneuvers on Puma, and he concludes it with like a Death Valley driver, and then he goes on the top rope and he goes for a 450, but Puma gets the knees up.
Yeah, like, and Puma got the knees up. That's right. Yeah, that was amazing too.
Yeah, like these guys just did not stop. It just kept going and going.
And the thing is, like you said, Death Valley Driver, but even that had a little bit of like a special Dante Fox twist on it because he followed through. It was like a Death Valley Driver steamroller combo.
Yeah, I just could not believe it. These guys astounded. These guys put on the very definition of a clinic with each other. And I even said
one of those episodes of Lucha Underground where I really wish more people on YouTube talked about Lucha Underground, whether it's just talking about the show, talking about the matches, reacting to the show, or even just reacting to the matches, or even just the highlights of the matches. I want everyone to see and talk about this so that I can talk with them about it, because this is just like one of those shows that creates that buzz, and it's like it makes you feel like, damn, like, why don't I have 1 million people to talk about this with, you know?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I even said on live reactions, if this match did not sell you on Dante Fox, I don't know what would. Because I thought this was spectacular. I even went as far in live reactions to say that if God forbid Mundo would ever leave Lucha Underground, because you never know with performers of his, profile. He may think, oh, well, maybe that WWE offer is sweet enough. I hope he never would. I have said repeatedly, I want him to end his career in Lucha Underground. But if he would...
Or, just never end his career in general.
Exactly. I mean, all that futuristic technology, Mundo could wrestle, forever times 5. But if that vacuum would ever open up, I said Dante Fox could fill it in the context of Lucha Underground, because he is so good, and I get sucked into his matches something fierce. And that's really saying something. So, yeah, I adore Dante. And you know what? I know we've said stuff about Puma lately, and I do stand by that half. But god damn it if the motherfucker isn't so good. And I kind of hate myself for it, because I'm like, I know what you think about this place, and yet you're still doing things like that in it. And it's like, oh, God, why do you have to be so talented? But, yeah, it was amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
and then you
really
get the...
exceptional.
Then you get the post-match, right, where Puma wins with the 630, and, turns out we're not even done yet, because, yeah, exactly. Killshot comes in, he gets the JML driver on Dante, gets a mic, kind of sits by Dante's unconscious body. You're right, Dante. This is far from over. Drops mic, that's it. So, Killshot has his sights set on Dante Fox. And if that's going to be an Ultima Lucha Trace match, yes, please. Just yes, please.
Yeah.
I want it. I need it. My life needs it. It really has no purpose.
I mean, we've already had a Weapons of Mass Destruction match, and Marty and Killshot didn't hate each other nearly as much as Dante and Killshot hate each other. So how are we going to up the odds from the Weapons of Mass Destruction match? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I am so excited what these two guys are going to do together. I'm so excited what they have planned, like, for Ultima Lucha Trace with these two. And here's the thing, a storyline like this and how they've...
These guys were in a trio during the Trios tournament this season. Who was their partner? I forget.
No, Marty wasn't their partner, because that was another time. They've done a lot of trios.
It might have been.
No, because I feel like Mariposa was the partner then. And I'm trying to think who was the partner with Killshot and Dante. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with that. But regardless, what I was going to say was, I think when you've got a storyline like this and you're building both guys, because like Killshot's already been established, since I believe even season 1, because he came in with the family, Big Rick and the Mac. So Killshot's had quite a bit of time under his belt. So he's already, to me, kind of established. But this, to me, is the kind of storyline that's going to make Dante Fox, if it hasn't already. And then when they get out of it, both of these guys could be viable contenders for the Lucha Underground title, and I would not bat an eye about that at all. So, yeah, really excited for the future of these two, especially Dante. And I think the best is yet to come, my friend, because this rivalry still has me hooked in deep.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I love that Lucha Underground isn't letting us forget about this either, because we just got done seeing this awesome Puma Dante match, and it's like, whoo, we really need to come down from this match. And then Killshot's just like, not quite ready yet. You're not coming down from this yet. And he comes out and he beats the hell out of Dante, and he just says just a few words, just, you're right, yeah, it's far from over. And that's all it takes for us to be like, oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I love that Killshot did that. And again, to your point, because I know you made this point, a few weeks back, I think both on a live reactions and a review, by Killshot letting Dante have his tournament experience, Killshot really does look like the babyface, because he just said, well, Dante, I know your ability is going to run up against a wall sooner or later, and when it does, I'll be waiting. And, well, he waited. Because he just laid a whooping on that ass. So, yeah, I mean, this is a great outing. I enjoy Dante Fox and Puma, and the aftermath just gave me goosebumps because I know what's coming, and what's coming is going to be fan-fucking-tastic. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So up next, we had, oh, man, we're in the LAPD office. We're finding out about Cage murdering Councilman Delgado from Captain Vasquez. And, Castro's just like, well, yeah, but if you have proof, why don't you just arrest him? And Captain Vasquez says, well, the thing is, I'm not interested in him. I'm interested in that. And she points to the gauntlet and says that she wants that gauntlet. And it's up to Cortez Castro to retrieve it for her. So in other words, the crew is about to be completely extinct rather than just mostly extinct.
Yeah, here's what I was going to ask in live reactions when I said that I would wait, because I really felt like I wasn't going to have enough time to talk about this. You made a great point that's even made me kind of reconsider asking this about Captain Vasquez being the little girl and the grandfather given like the amulet. But even if Captain Vasquez has morally good intentions, I think some of her actions are a bit ambiguous, no? Because she has to know she's sending Castro to die.
The thing is, like, she definitely has her own agenda. She definitely has her own ideas about what is right and wrong, and it's not the objective definition of right and wrong. It's just kind of her idea of what's right and wrong. And that, when you're in a position of power the way she is, that could be very dangerous, potentially.
And you know what, Ashton? I'm so glad you said that, because what I wanted to ask was really getting after that exact point. Does Vasquez have her own ulterior motive that, even if it is good in part, may also be very selfish? Because to me, she's looking at that half of the medallion, and she clearly wants it completed. You know, she wants that medallion whole, and we know that Katrina has the other half. That's not a spoiler. That was established a few episodes back. But what is she going to do?
That was established in the first half of season 3. Yeah.
So what does she want with a whole one, though? Like, is it just for her so that she can continue perpetuating her existence? What is the intent? And more importantly, again, even if the intent is good, the road to get there, like, you're really throwing this man away to die. And again, the Johnny Scumbag in me is like, I cannot wait to see that son of a bitch die. That is going to be fucking hilarious to me. Maybe not as hilarious as Delgado because, punching through face, but, it'll be close. But the John in me, the reviewer in me with you is just like, man, Vasquez, you are cold as hell. Like, you have to know what you're asking this man to do. And here's another thing. Not only is she looking at the amulet and wanting to complete it, is she thinking the gauntlet is going to be her means to do that? Does she want to wear it? Does she want the power to get it done? Because that's scary as shit, dude.
Yeah, because I mean, it was established that when Delgado said you can't take it off, it was more of like a hypothetical thing, like, oh, you're not wanting to take it off, I guess. Like, it's something that you've kind of attached to in the metaphorical sense. So, I mean, if it has that kind of effect on the user, and Captain Vasquez wants to, I just want to put it on long enough to get the other half of my medallion back because there's a teleporting witch and her undead giant hulking monster that she keeps by her at all times, preventing me from doing that. And maybe this gauntlet would allow me to get past them to get to my medallion, or my pendant rather. Then, she might not realize that she might not really be the same person when she's finally done with her mission.
And dude, that's what scares me. That's what scares me, because if in her mind she says, oh, if I get the gauntlet, then I can get the medallion, because we know how powerful Katrina is. But that's another thing. Like, if Vasquez knows, which, I mean, to be fair, I don't think she's given any indication that she does know where the other half is. But let's just say then, for argument's sake, if she would ever find out, and she would arm herself with that gauntlet, then that poses the question, what's stronger, the gauntlet or Katrina? Because that gauntlet seems insanely strong. Again, just ask Delgado. Oh, wait, you can't. He has no face. But, yeah, man, I'm really starting to be a bit dubious of Vasquez. Not saying she's a villain. Not saying she's a villain, but she's definitely in that questionable territory. Like, I honestly think the only pure character in the temple, well, maybe not even Sexy Star anymore, because she's starting to get a little, on the wayside. Yeah, Phoenix. Phoenix, I think, is the only pure character left, because Sexy Star's starting to get a little tainted. And Ray. But, yeah, Phoenix is pure. But, I mean, Sexy Star's starting to get a little tainted. And then Vasquez, like, I liked her. I dug her, like, no-nonsense attitude. But tonight, just something was very off-putting to me, where I'm like, okay, you're as questionable as everybody else then, because you have to know what you're asking. You have to know that he's not going to come back from this. And even if he does succeed, which he may, that again introduces the broader question of, well, what the hell do you even want to do with it? Because I don't trust it.
Now that I think about it, is it safe to say Cortez Castro is a pure character?
I mean, possibly. I
think anything that he might have done as far as like heelish, maybe criminal activity and stuff, we can chalk that to, well, he was undercover. He was doing his job, and he's a cop, and he wanted to protect his friend, and he didn't want to send his friend into Cueto's office to get killed. And he doesn't like Joey Ryan, who's a bad cop, and he's hesitant to do Vasquez's bidding for her, and we're already establishing now that she has ulterior motives. So really, I almost feel like Cortez Castro is one of the few really pure of heart characters in this show as well.
Yeah, and you might be right about that, man. And I'll tell you, I hope he watches his back. I really, really do, because Vasquez isn't watching his. So he's got to look out for his damn self, because if Vasquez has it her way.
I love the way you put that. You put so much sass in that. He's got to look out for his damn self.
Yeah, I mean, he does, though, because she really does not get, like, he's going to die. Like, are we really? And again, do we even want him to succeed? And that's not even me being like, oh, haha, I love death, which, I mean, it is hilarious when done Lucha Underground style, but that's not the point. Like, what is this woman after? Because, again, she may think that she's doing the right thing, but what if you're as much of a cuckoo bird as everybody else? Like, I don't know, man. I ain't trusting this. This is the first time that we spent with Captain Vasquez that I got really bad vibes, because she's really starting to come off to me as that character, no different than Cueto, even if she's coming at it from a different angle, that I will expend anyone and anything to attain this end, and that's very dangerous to me. So yeah, I really wanted to talk about this cinematic with you, because I actually came away from this liking Vasquez less, if I'm honest. Yeah. And yeah, I really just wanted to see if you felt the same way as me, if our audience felt the same way as me, or if I was just kind of blowing smoke up my own ass. But yeah, so that's all I really wanted to say about it, and if you want, we can move on.
Well, the only thing that we really have left is our main event match of the night, Johnny Mundo versus El Dragon Azteca Jr. And you know what? I feel like I talked about Dante Puma a lot. I feel like I've already kind of ranted about the Gift of the Gods and how it's so much better than everything else that's anything close to it. I want your take on the main event match.
Oh, brother, I mean, anybody that knows me knows that I adored this, but being serious about it, one, it was great to get my Johnny Mundo fix and to get out of that G1 mode for a second and just, just let it hang out, because who gives a fuck? Yeah. But Azteca is amazing, and that's where I did want to be serious, because I love heckling the opposition every time. It's what I do. It's one of my few pleasures in life, but I will always give credit where it's due. Man's freaking incredible. Like, we keep talking about how he may be that torchbearer once Puma leaves, and there's kind of that vacuum there. And matches like this show that he can pull it off, and it probably wouldn't even be that much effort for the man. He is so good. When he does that dive, going from like one corner all the way over the post, and he vaults over, takes my breath away every goddamn time. And I'm like, God, and it's perfection too. It's not even like it's sloppy or it barely grazes like Ibushi's triangle moonsault, which, you know, I love Ibushi, but I'm not a fan of that move. No, he gets full on body to body contact, and it's just amazing. The guy's repertoire is just breathtaking to watch unfold. And, you know, there were points like he got a victory roll bomb. And if I wasn't like convinced that, you know, they are building to Mundo Rey, like if I was just watching this ignorantly with no context, I would have assumed that was the finish. Like, that's how credible Azteca comes off in his offense. Johnny, great, playing the heel, you know, creating distance whenever possible, exploiting whatever advantage he could. He did an eye poke, and I freaked out on live reactions. Oh, better than Flair, better than Flair. And, you know, Worldwide Underground was banned, so I like this too because it showed, hey, say what you will about Johnny, but when his back's up against the wall, he's going to come out swinging, even if it's by cheaper means than you'd like him to employ. So, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, his back really wasn't against the wall here. He could have just walked away. He could have gotten himself disqualified. This match was not for the championship.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. Mundo didn't have to give a fuck, but I like that he did. And you could even say it's because, well, Johnny Mundo's a narcissist, or, you know, his ego. Like, he loves himself too much.
He was in it for the payday. He wanted that extra money for winning.
And hey, and I would even say all of the above. You know, money, pride, vanity, whatever you want to call it. Like, it was all there, and he pulled it out with the end of the world, which he hit again. I love that he has a much higher success rate with that move in Lucha Underground than he's ever had in WWE, because Lucha Underground's a superior promotion, and they earn the effort, damn it. But, yeah, I adored this match. Really, the only debate is, was this better than Puma Dante? And if I'm being honest, it's so close, but I think I still have to give the nod to Dante Puma, to be honest. But my God, do I always love watching Mundo. Like, I could watch him wrestle all day and never get bored. So, yeah, what a fun main event. But now that I've given my full thoughts, I mean, is there anything you want to add?
Oh, no, I don't have anything to add. I think that this match was a lot of fun. I think I did enjoy this match, but you definitely enjoyed it more than I did. Not because I didn't think it was good, but because I know that you're just super into Mundo. I was really more kind of enjoying Azteca Jr. and his freaking Houdini work in this. The way he's able to wriggle his way out of things, and his movements, and his just I mean, it's funny, he's part of the Eagle tribe, but he really does move more like a snake in the ring, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It is incredible, the fluidity of his movements, how perfect his offense looks. Like, I really think we've got a crop of wrestlers right now, especially like in Lucha Underground, New Japan, and in some independent territories, that their offense is just like, damn, son, they put an offense together. Like, even Dante Fox, going back to that match, like how he could just snap so many moves off in succession, and they make sense logically for being a sequence. And yeah, like, wrestlers are so good right now. Maybe not wrestling on the whole, because we know WWE's got its problems, but Lucha Underground and the performers they have, what a talented freaking locker room. Yeah. And then we get to the post-match.
Yep.
Oh, my. You know what? I know you're probably going to try and pass the buck back, but I really want you to go first on this, because I don't want to splooge early. I want the build-up. So tease me a little bit. Give me your thoughts on this. Let me relive it.
All right. Well, after the match, we see.
Sorry, keep going.
Really?
Keep going.
After the match. Okay, after the match, we see Johnny Mundo attempt to continue his beatdown on El Dragon Azteca Jr. He has him set up. He wants to give him another end of the world. But really, we all know he's just baiting Mysterio out so that he can beat his ass. And Mysterio does come out, but Mysterio gets the upper hand on Mundo. And Mundo is starting to leave, but then Ray makes the mistake of acknowledging his own family in the crowd. He kisses his wife, or I'm assuming it's his wife. I'm not even going to second guess that. And he gives his son like a shoulder bump hug, and then he gives his daughter a nice big hug and a kiss on the forehead, and then he heads to the back. And Johnny Mundo says, "Oh, I bet I could draw Ray back out here if I picked a fight with his son Dominic." So he goes over, and he's talking in Dominic's face. He's like, "Yeah, your dad, he's a piece of crap. There's no way He's going to try and beat me next in 3 weeks, but he's got no chance in hell. And Dominic, the absolutely inconsiderate, immature little prick that he is, stands up and gets in Mundo's face and says, "Do you have any idea who I am? Yeah, we know who you are. You're worthless. You're nobody. You're literally nobody. You're lucky to be known as the son of Rey Mysterio Jr. And even then, all that says is that you're the son of another worthless man who's going to get his ass kicked by Johnny Mundo in 3 weeks." So then Rey Mysterio comes out and immediately gets jumped by the other 4 members of Worldwide Underground. And they're just the 5 of them are beating on Rey, and Dominic is being held back by security and officials. And then Johnny Mundo, with the championship belt, just lays into Dominic with that title belt face first, and then goes back to Rey, and he beats down Rey more. And then that's the segment. That's the end of that segment.
Okay. I think I'm good now. I think my whole body just shivered. I feel tingly in places I didn't even know I had places, but I'll worry about that later. This is
I'm just going to ask you point blank, John. Is this the greatest segment ever made in the history of pro wrestling?
Probably. Because, I mean, you got to understand, it's not just, and I know many people won't believe it, and that's fair. I've really given you no reason to. But it isn't just because it's Mundo or this and that. Like, we've seen family members get attacked before. I mean, who could forget when Randy Orton punted Cena's father in the head, or Cena's father got bitch slapped by Edge? You'd think Cena's father would learn. That's another story for another time. But, you know, you think with the adults in the room, right? Like, oh, that's tragic, but they're responsible. They can defend themselves. But to go after a child, now how often?
I mean, to be fair, Dominic isn't actually a child anymore. He's definitely either a teenager or early 20s.
Well, I would think a teen, right? Or unless he is 20, in which case I feel so much fucking older than I actually am. But regardless though, it is a younger member of the audience. And here's the thing: when I say child, maybe not even in terms of age, but that's Rey's relation to Dominic.
Yeah, like, Dominic is 20.
Okay, so he's 20. So that's fair. That's fair. But still, though, he is the child of someone, right? And he's still, like, young enough where you can say that, and that doesn't really feel out of place. And Mundo just clocked him right in the head with that Lucha Underground Championship. And then Rey just has to come to the realization, oh my God, I'm a really shitty parent. And normally when people feel down about themselves, you always get that voice ringing back, oh no, you're not. Oh, you're fantastic. But do you know what Rey heard with his little internal monologue there? Crickets. Because he knows he's telling the truth. Like, this segment, yes, we can make so many allusions to it got me erect, my Swanson's never been happier, my splooge bank, I'm in the 1% after tonight. And it's all true. I am that satisfied. But the idea that Mundo would go this far, like, I have been saying since I believe even 2016, late 2016, Mundo has been in a groove in his matches, in his presentation, and now, just when I think he's got the heel work down and he can't take it any further, he attacks a family member from a guy that he said. He gave Rey the credit immediately. He is no joke. So you can read that as Mundo once again proving Rey's no joke. I have to do this. Because if I can irritate him, if I can mentally throw him off his game, that's not 100% Rey Mysterio. And a Rey Mysterio that's even 1% less than 100% is the Rey Mysterio I can beat. I love that they went here. I love it. I love that Mundo, because it took him 3 fucking seasons to win the damn thing, will do anything. Because everybody always says, oh, I'll do anything to keep it. And sometimes we see that. But with Mundo, we're actually seeing it. Like, I don't give a fuck about your family. Like, Brock may have said to Heath, I don't give a shit about your kids. But he didn't take it one step further and F5 one of Heath's children, as hilarious as that might have been. Mundo pretty much told Dominic, you're a piece of crap, your father's a piece of crap, and we're going to beat up both of you and get away with it. And they did. They did. So what the fuck is anybody going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? I'm going to laugh all the way to the goddamn bank. But yeah, you asked me, is this the greatest segment ever? Maybe not objectively, and that's fair. But to me, abso-freaking-lutely, because this showed that Mundo is the heel. And I mean the heel. Like, he is doing shit now that if this was the territory days and everybody was still like, whatever, he'd probably get chased out of the damn building and the cops called. How dare you assault that man's son? Ray is looking more sympathetic than ever. I mean, he'll get it even worse, though, when he goes back to his stem cell therapist, but I digress. And Dominic might have finally woken up from his stupor that he could actually be a pro wrestler. Because don't you realize what that means, Dominic? That you'd have to share the ring with greatness that you'll never even achieve. Give up. You're worthless. And Ray, once again, the idea that you could even let this happen to your son. Eddie should have won custody. This is all on you, Ray. You're pathetic. God, I feel so good right now. Doesn't everybody else feel good? Don't you feel good right now? We just saw a man's son get assaulted. I'm tops. Like, this is it. This is it. This is all my scumbag aspirations finally realized. Like, ooh, God, that feels good. Do you have any closing remarks, at least on this segment? Because we're not even done. We still got one more cinematic after this. So do you have anything else you want to say about this?
You know what? I'm going to leave it at that, and we can get into our final cinematic, which was Phoenix and Melissa leaving the temple. Melissa asks Phoenix, "Oh, give me, he literally asked him to let her ride him or to carry her." And she got up on his back. It's just a piggyback ride, nothing too weird. Like when she said carry me, I'm thinking like he's gonna carry her like a groom carrying his new wife over the the boundary in a hotel room or whatever. And like, no, it was just a piggyback ride, which is cool. It makes sense. It's like a cool, like chill thing for a couple to do. But then we see Marty, and there was a brief discussion had between Melissa and Phoenix regarding Phoenix's mask, talking about, do you always wear the mask? And Phoenix says, "Oh, no, not always. I always wear it when I fight, but not always just in general." And then she, jumps on his back and they walk away. And Marty says, "I'm going to take his mask from him, and then she'll see how ugly he really is."
I'm so proud of Marty for, really taking proactive steps to make his relationship with Melissa happen. And you know what? He really is protecting her. I bet you Phoenix really isn't Uggo under that mask. I mean, we've seen Mil Muertes bust him open. I mean, for all we know, Mil Muertes was doing an improvement. So I commend Marty and his efforts to show everybody the real Phoenix. And personally, I hope he succeeds. Now, that might say something about my own moral character, but thankfully, this really isn't even about me. So, what'd you think about this cinematic?
This is an interesting step in Marty the Moth's psyche because, he came really close to ripping Phoenix's mask off completely a couple weeks ago. I guess now he regrets not finishing that job. But my question is, is he just going to try and beat Phoenix up and take the mask from him, or is he going to try and take it from him in a mask match? And if that's the case, what's Marty going to put on the line?
Maybe his hair. Maybe it'll be a mask versus hair match.
Oh, see, and I was thinking like mask versus career, but that could be interesting too.
See, because the only thing that would make Marty look even creepier in my mind than he does now is if he had no hair to go with it, and he was just bald and doing all this menacing shit, because goddamn. But, yeah, here's the thing. What Marty said, for as much as I enjoyed it and everything, and looking at it more seriously, that is serious. Because we have established before, like, oh, God, with who was it? Who was it?
Superfly.
I was going to say Spanish Fly, but I'm like, no, that's the move. Who was the wrestler? So, yeah, Superfly.
Dude, it's so funny you almost made that mistake, because anytime someone does a Spanish Fly, I always want to call it a Superfly.
Right. So, yeah, Superfly. As we know, it's Superfly. Stryker noted on commentary, and we've seen in the Luchaverse, and again, it is like a cultural fact, losing the mask is everything. And that's the thing. If Marty is gunning for that mask, and dude, we keep talking, and I'm not trying to like crowbar anything in here. This is just me being speculative. But like, if Marty is going for that mask and he comes close to succeeding, I can't see Melissa being able to save Phoenix, so maybe Katrina will. I don't know. I keep expecting her to come into this, and maybe she won't, because she's already got her hands full with Jeremiah and the Cueto Cup and Evilise when she comes back, lest we forget. But, like, you know, if Phoenix is her true love, you got to keep a finger on the pulse at least somewhat, right? I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about that with, you know, Phoenix potentially losing his mask and what that could mean?
Oh, man. Well, you know what? This is kind of the point in the commentary where I have to bring up real life facts. Phoenix still has his mask, like, to this day, which means that when this was taped however many months ago, he didn't lose his mask. So that kind of takes a lot of the stipulation, a lot of the, you know, the, what do you call it? The consequences out of this whole storyline, but it's still going to be interesting to watch Marty try.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So that's all I got to say about that cinematic. Unless you have anything to add, we can finally get into our next segment here.
Go for it.
High spots and low shots. Oh, my low shot is Rey Mysterio. Because, you know, Rey, yeah, you're getting a Lucha Underground Championship match, but that's in 3 weeks. Tonight was the worst night of your life because you puffed your chest out. Oh, I'm going to save El Dragon Azteca. I'm going to send a message to Johnny. 619's coming for you. How'd that end for you, Rey? How's that area code working out for you? Because last I looked, it was getting burned to the goddamn ground. And you had to watch while your own son got cracked in the damn skull with a championship you're not even going to have the privilege to hold. You self-righteous prick. So enjoy holding this. You're my low shot this week. And considering that you're a failure as a father, a failure as a human being, and more importantly, a failure as a Lucha Underground competitor, because you will fail in 3 weeks to become Lucha Underground champion, you're my low shot forever and always, Rey. Forever and always. So, partner, who's your low shot?
Pindar, because he lucked his way here, and his luck has run out tonight. And really, his match was also the least entertaining of the 3 that we got tonight. So Pindar, and he lost even though he got help from Cobra Moon. So Pindar is really just having the shittiest of shitty nights.
Absolutely. I can completely agree with that. As far as my high spot, oh, God, what a night for me. Johnny Mundo. Because not only do you win, and this win was significant because not only was it against Rey's right-hand man, El Dragon Azteca Jr., it was a win where Worldwide Underground was banned, so Johnny Mundo got to remind everybody, yeah, I didn't luckbox my way into this championship. You know, Worldwide Underground didn't give this to me, even though, I mean, to be fair, they kind of did. It was my ability that kept it, though, damn it.
No. It wasn't all of Worldwide Underground. It was only Taya that gave it to him.
Exactly, and they're future husband and wife, so they're practically the same person. It counts. It's like that same argument you used to do for Blurfex all the time. So
no,
I'm invoking it here.
I agree with you. I mean, it really, to me, all Johnny Mundo title defenses should just be handicap defenses. Like, it should just be him and Taya versus the world, because that's what it is in real life, too.
Exactly. Singular entity, motherfuckers. Singular entity. So, yeah, Johnny Mundo not only did it, even without his fiance by his side, which must have been very taxing on him emotionally. See,
I know. How scarring must that have been? He can't.
I know. Like, I'm hearing
without her.
I know, like, I'm hearing all this shit, but, oh, Rey's son, and oh, is Rey gonna be okay? And oh, the family seems so I don't give a fuck about that.
I don't know. Where was Johnny's family? They were banned from ringside because Dario.
Exactly. So, if anything, Dario is an emotional abuser, which, I mean, the first cinematic and then this really just confirmed that for me. And, you know, Johnny had to fight through the emotional and psychological pain, and he still triumphed. How is he the bad guy here? And then, here's the thing. He was provoked, okay? Dominic actually got up out of his chair. It would have been one thing if you had a civil discussion while seated. Okay.
I mean, yeah, clearly Johnny Mundo was feeling threatened, and I don't know if California is a hold your ground law state, but it doesn't matter because no guns were involved, and Johnny Mundo held his ground. Self-defense, baby.
Exactly. And I have Otunga Law on speed dial.
When a fan sitting in the stands doesn't have the wherewithal to realize that it's a show and he gets up out of his seat and physically imposes himself upon a performer, you have all the right in the world to defend yourself, in my opinion.
Exactly. Well, thank you. You know, it's so nice because, look, I know we have our disagreements about KO or this one or that one, and that's fair. That is fair. But I am so glad we can come together for this cause because I know what's going to happen. The media is gonna victimize Ray and Dominic, and, you know, they're just going to cast Johnny Mundo as the villain. I saw a man defending himself, defending his turf, and maybe Dominic should know better than picking fights he can't win. Okay, so yeah, he got cracked in the damn skull. So Mundo successfully defended himself, won a match, and got a psychological leg up on his opposition in 3 weeks. This is a fucking great night for Slamtown. So yeah, Mundo's my high spot. Who is your high spot?
Well, my high spot really kind of does have to default to Prince Puma because he was in the best match of the night and he won the best match of the night. And his next opponent is probably going to end up getting attacked and dominated and destroyed and having his mask ripped off by Marty the Moth. So he might as well just have a bye to the finals.
Yeah, I completely agree. This was an excellent night for Puma, continuing to show why he's so damn good at what he does. And yeah, he advances. And I have no doubt now that he's just going to go all the way to the finals at this point. So with that said, do you have any concluding remarks about tonight's Lucha Underground?
Tonight's Lucha Underground was amazing, as always. And, you know, I am still kind of looking forward to NXT, but I just feel like there's no way it can live up to Lucha Underground tonight. The Wednesday Night War has been settled before we even finished.
Yeah, and I fucking love Lucha Underground tonight. I love that this is actually one of our lengthier reviews in what feels like a while.
I know, we've gone like 77 minutes right now.
Yeah, and you know what, though? It was worth it because there was so much to talk about, and there's so much I want to talk about with you, and you even had a few questions for me. So yeah, I enjoyed every minute of this, guys. I hope I speak for you guys as well. I'm going to go and finally clean myself off after this is all done, but in the meantime, guys, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-ordinating commentary. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. Now, to give the rundown, want to just do the plugs. All of our Lucha Underground content is in the description box. Ashton even has an All Lucha Underground Content Ever playlist. So if you're new and you want to see what we're about when it comes to Lucha Underground, that's the playlist for you. Hey, guys, if you want to relive some of our greatest moments of Lucha Underground, like my mark out for Johnny Mundo's world title win or Ashton and I reacting to Matanza's debut, it's all right there as well. And then to get to our more promotional stuff, obviously all of our social media is in the description box. Please check it out for yourselves. And there are 3 things I want to plug here. Well, actually 4 things. I'm going to do it rapid fire. 1, the Teespring. We do have a new t-shirt. I'm not finished with you! And we finally got that Braun Strowman t-shirt that you guys could show everybody that you're not finished with them or any obstacle that's in your way. Get the t-shirt. Demolish life. You know you want to. That's on our Teespring store in the description box.
Legally, we couldn't actually make a Braun Strowman t-shirt, but we made a t-shirt that represents Braun Strowman spiritually, and everyone that sees it that knows that it represents or that knows about Braun Strowman will immediately know what it's all about, and hopefully you guys are into that idea.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really, I'm curious how everyone is kind of respond to this t-shirt, because this is the first time that I've really made a t-shirt that directly corresponds to something on WWE television and represents a wrestler, because all of our Kevin Owens stuff, like, we don't have Kevin Owens' name on it. It's Fight Owens Fight, or actually Parent Owens Parent. But at the same time, like, it's a phrase that we made up, like the you made up on TWitWoW. So this is the first time that we're rolling with a phrase that actually is from WWE, but we did it in a clever way that kind of dances around copyright law.
Exactly. So do that dance with us. Get an I'm Not Finished With You t-shirt. Moving right along, the Patreon, the big thing you guys know I always like to plug, the Discord. Do we have any new Discord participants, Ashton? Because I honestly haven't checked in on it since the Raw review, but I know.
I mean, the thing is, John, we did lose one person that was unable to continue the $3 a month payments, but we picked up 3 more. So
excellent.
Grand total of 12 people in our Discord plus John and myself, so that makes 14.
That's not bad at all, but keep those numbers coming, guys. I know we get new subscribers, new visitors to chat. You know, Discord is the ultimate TWitWoW experience. And yeah, I mean, $3 a month, to me, that's a steal. You get to talk with us about all things wrestling or really anything else, because there is a general tab where you can do all sorts of discussions. And the one thing I always like to mention when it comes to the Discord, you get future purchasing power. If you donate $3 a month and you're a member of the Discord for 10 months, that accrues to $30. You can cash that in for a live reactions to a 3-hour show. So, you know, I think the Discord is a win-win-win, as I always like to say about it. And, you know, moving right along from that, so please consider donating and joining the Discord. As far as content, you know, for like this week and the future, what we have tonight, we've still got our NXT review coming up. We have no content Thursday. Thursday's actually going to be an off day for all of us, you know, catch our breath, regain ourselves. But then Friday, we're right back in the saddle with the A-Block Day 13 of G1 Climax A-Block matches, main evented by ZSJ versus Naito. We're going to be providing English commentary for that. That's going to be absolutely insane. And then B-Block is Saturday, and then we go back to the A-Block on Sunday. So we're still barreling right along with the G1 Climax. It's really the big thing here. And then in the far future, specifically, let me pull up my calendar here, August 24th, I want to say, or no, actually August 31st. Wow. Because, yeah, it's the last day of August and it's on a Thursday, is Q&A. Because Q&A is the last Thursday of every month now. You guys know you can either submit questions on even this video when it's done processing. If you have Twitter, tweet at us. I've got my pinned tweet out. I know a lot of people have already been taking advantage of it. You can go on Facebook, submit questions there. Or if you're a member of the Discord, you can submit questions there now, too. Another reason to join the Discord. You can get your questions immediately to us. So, yeah, submit your questions there, guys. 4 questions per Q&A. You can divvy them up however you want. And just be sure to get them in before August 31st. That it will be when we're answering all those questions. So, yeah, have your voice heard for Q&A. It's always a lot of fun. And until then, guys, we'll see you again for our NXT review later tonight. Johnny Gargano returns to action against Raul Mendoza. And Aleister Black is in action, so which opponent's going to fade? Fade to black. All right, guys, we'll answer all those questions soon enough. Until then, stay tuned.